Hi, everybody. It is episode 593 of PodQuest.
Hey.
What's up? Sorry, I
It
wasn't
is
paying
Wednesday.
attention.
It is Wednesday, December 23rd, 2025. I am Chris. With me is Droo
Hello.
and Walnut.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
It's almost Christmas, everybody.
Oh my god, I have been in senioritis mode this whole week, and I just don't want to work. And then today,
Well,
I feel like I'm a bear and in nesting mode because all I wanted to do was snack and bulk up for the winter.
As of 50 minutes ago, I am off work until January.
Nice. Where they want to train me on something with work, and the person who's training me scheduled it out until January 6th. And I was like, good thing you scheduled it out that late because my brain's not working the rest of the year. Like, I won't learn anything. I promise. I can barely stay focused with work.
Yeah, I feel that. These last few days have just kind of been like, is it Tuesday at 5:30 yet? Because it could really be Tuesday at 5:30 now.
Let me tell you, the burnout is hitting hard this past few weeks. I am just having not had been feeling all that great Friday night and Saturday morning. It was just like I was planning Saturday to mostly rest, and like because I wasn't feeling good, I rested, but it wasn't the rest that I wanted. I did end up sleeping a bit, but it's just like I'm like, man, I need to take even more time off and I can't because there's just too many people off.
And that is a bummer.
Yeah.
But gooder stuff. What's on the agenda?
So Droo went to a concert, saw Streetlight Manifesto, so he's going to tell us about that. Me and Cobb had a board game night this weekend where we played this game called Scream Park, as well as Widget's Workshop from Phase Shift Games, one of the games that we got from PAX to review. And then, Cobb, you watched Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, which I was going to say, didn't we already talk about that? But no, there was a different babysitter movie where it was the one where the kid was obsessed with the babysitter. So I was wrong. But I do remember hearing about this movie, and it seems like, I think it was like a sillier movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's a comedy from 1991.
Oh, then I don't remember hearing about this movie. I thought it was something relatively recent.
Nope. 1991, starring Christina Applegate at like peak Married with Children fame.
Nice.
Yeah. I mostly have that on here because there are some weird things about this movie, especially like looking back at it like as an adult. But before we get to that, Droo, how was Streetlight?
They're so good live. This is the third time I saw them this year, counting Warped Tour.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's the sixth time I've seen them overall. Fifth time in the last 2 years. But yeah, they're real good. Their lead singer, Thomas, I feel like jokingly said, because it's been a long-running joke in the Streetlight Manifesto community, that they're not going to play any new shows until their new album comes out. The new album that was supposed to come out in June, that then got delayed like the week it was supposed to come out, and then was supposed to come out in the fall. It's winter now, so fucking who knows?
Okay. But so you said you went up to North Jersey for that, right?
Yeah, it was their like annual Christmas time show up at Starland Ballroom.
Oh, right. They're one of those bands. They're like, yeah. Have you been up there before?
Oh, yeah. It was my second time there this year.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I saw the Used up there earlier this year. A couple years ago, I went to the other band that does a Christmas time show every year, friggin' Taking Back Sunday. I went to that 2 years ago, like 2023. But it was my first time up there for a Streetlight Christmas show. They did really anything Christmassy for it, but
yeah, I almost tried to go see Midtown up there like 2 or 3 years ago. But it was like a random like Thursday, and I did not want to drive 2 hours each way when I knew I had work the next day. So I did not, and they have not done that show since. Mostly because I think after that year, Gabe started doing like the occasional show with Cobra Starship again. So
gotcha. Yep.
Like his like 1 or 2 shows a year moved over to Cobra Starship instead of Midtown.
Yeah. Starland's a cool place.
At least it's Midtown at
fucking so far, like so in the middle of nothing.
Oh, is it like not around anything either?
No, not real. I mean, it is and it isn't. Like where it is, it's Starland Ballroom, and across the street is a VFW, and like the rest of the road it's on is absolutely nothing.
Oh wow, yeah, I just brought it up. I did not realize like there's just nothing around it and like a river behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Like
wow.
10 minutes away is like East Brunswick and like stuff. But
It's actually a little
yeah,
bit further south than I realized too. I thought it was north of Newark,
oh no.
so it's not quite as far. But like that's still a hike.
Yeah, it's a chunky drive to do on a weeknight that you then have to go back and go to work the next day. For
Yeah.
us, anyway. Yeah, but at least this was on Saturday.
Oh,
So
that's good.
yeah,
Well, cool. Glad you had a good time.
yeah. You know, if they actually play shows next year, they're a super good, super talented band. Like,
Do you have any other concerts the rest of the year, or was that the last one?
nah, that I think was the last one, number 37 for this year.
It's less than last year, isn't it?
It is less than last year.
Be better.
You know, things just I just didn't as much this year by 5.
It's a disappointment.
You know, it is a little bit, honestly.
Sorry,
But
I did not get out to nearly as many this year, just with like moving and all that stuff. Like it kind of
yeah,
like ate up the summer, and we're like slightly further away from Philly now, so it's like an actual like, do I want to drive all the way to Philadelphia and home? Because it's like getting in and out of the city, like there's just not a good way there anymore. Because it's like half an hour to the bridge, give or take,
yeah,
and then driving in Philly.
yeah.
But yeah, cool. Well, you'll have to do at least 47 next year.
We'll see.
So
I
you
think
you
I've
have to
already got.
offset what you missed this year.
I think I've already got 7 lined up.
There you go. I think I have 2 because I have tickets for Motion City and State Champs at the end of January.
I have Motion City. I think I'm doing the state champs. I may or may not be doing the state champ. I have Warped Tour DC again. I
Yes,
have the Charlotte and Avenged Sevenfold.
that's a weird one.
It is a weird one, but oh no, there's a couple others that off the top of my head I can't think of, but I know I have tickets to a couple others already.
Yeah, like if it wasn't, if that Avenged Sevenfold one wasn't in Camden, because it is in Camden, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it wasn't Camden, I probably would have looked at tickets. But I fucking hate going to concerts there.
Yeah, I feel you. It's
Like
not my
unless it's
favorite
like
place.
yeah, like unless it's somebody I really want to see, I'm just like it's not worth how expensive it is to go there and everything for how shitty the sound and views are.
Oh,
Plus, it's in
that's the other
Camden.
thing I have lined up is 3 The Wonder Years shows.
Oh, did you get tickets for all 3 of them?
Well, I mean they're doing 5 now or 6 now,
Oh,
but
oh, did they? I didn't realize they added on to that.
they added 2 more shows. So they're doing it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Nice.
Uh,
Who are the new bands that got added? If any?
Origami Angel is one of them.
Okay.
Which was like shit. Kind of want to go to that one now too. And then I forget the last one, but yeah, I have doing the Friday, Saturday, Sunday as of
Yeah, I tried to just get the Sunday. I want to say it was,
that's
but
the
like
Spanish love song.
yeah, but they sold out like immediately, and I had bad internet that day, like at the client I was at, so it just didn't go well. And then
Yeah, talking to the one of the band members at they had that pop up museum thing for a little bit.
oh yeah,
I went to that. They said yeah, it sold out in like 10 minutes.
yeah, like so like it sold out very quickly, and it was one of those shitty Ticketmaster things where Ticketmaster doesn't update correctly, so it looks like there's tickets and it just errors out. But it doesn't error out until you've input all your information and wasted like an extra 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then yeah, by the time I found out that was actually sold out, all the other ones had sold out too. So I'll probably end up looking that weekend on like Ticketmaster and stuff like that to see if anyone is just trying to like get rid of the tickets for face value.
Yeah,
'Cause,
because
like,
people were the little bit of resale that happened that day was like 5 times the price, and
yeah, because that's all the
fuck these
scalpers and
people.
bots and douchebags.
Mhm.
But like inevitably, there's somebody that like can't make a concert and they're selling it for like the cost of the ticket plus probably like the service fees. Like that's usually what I do. Like if I can't make something, it's like
Yeah.
I just put it up for whatever like the ticket actually costs me with like fees and all.
Mhm.
And like sometimes like if it gets to like day of and they haven't sold yet, I'll even like drop the price a little bit because at that point like it's not so much about getting the money back. It's like just somebody get the ticket so that it at least gets used
and get at least something.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'll check that stuff when it comes time.
Mm-hmm.
But cool. Well, I guess that's concert talk for the week.
Yeah.
So we also, Rich, you and I played some tabletop games.
Yeah, we played two. They were pretty good. They were fun. The first one was Scream Park, which for anyone who doesn't know what Scream Park is, I pulled up the Board Game Geek for both of these so I could have the information on it. Scream Park
Good
is
thinking.
a closed drafting hand management simultaneous selection game. So basically, in order to play the game, like similar to like Sushi Go Nuts for Donuts, stuff like that. I think these are games that are probably bigger names. There is a set of every player gets 8 cards. You draw 2 cards from that hand and then rotate the hand to the next player. And then
Okay.
you all play your cards at the same time, trying to basically what you're trying to do is build a haunted attraction for Halloween. We added, or our friend Matt plays with an added rule where the cards you play try to build out that story of your haunted attraction. You don't have to do it, but it adds a little bit of role play and a little bit of fun and silliness to it. As to it, rather
Sure.
than just like sitting there playing cards willy-nilly and just being like, "Oh, I'm just gonna play this. I'm just gonna play that." Like it just adds a little bit of nuance to the game, which was
Yeah,
it was cool
it made
to
it more
add that.
fun.
Yeah, like
And
if we
it
didn't
made the
have
game
that,
take longer too.
yeah, if we didn't have that, I don't think it would have been as fun.
No, because
Um,
it would have just been play a card, pass a card,
yeah,
versus like playing the card, then going around and kind of like laughing about like whatever nonsense we were like building out there. So I
yeah,
know at one point, like I asked Matt like how long the game was supposed to take, and like the box says 30 minutes, and I want to say it took us like hour and a half like actual playing time. So we stopped between rounds to eat, but like I'd
yeah,
say it was probably about 90 minutes or so of actual play.
yeah. Maybe I don't remember. I don't fully remember. Like I said, I wasn't feeling all that great. I was feeling fine enough to be there and not contagious or anything, but just my belly wasn't feeling great, so I wasn't really tracking time too much. Um, but yeah, it probably took a little bit longer just to think about it. It was also like the three of us are still learning, so anytime there's a learning phase in a game, it's going to take I would always say a learning a game takes at least twice as long as what's on the box.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's depending on the game, and this one is like a little bit more in depth because there's a lot of cards and things like that you're trying to. There's even rules that Matt didn't. He might have explained, but I didn't really pay attention to it until like near the end when like, oh, I actually did really good in getting these cards that I didn't even realize I was getting. Like, there's a lot of different symbols on the cards. Like,
Oh,
there's
and he did explain that a little bit. Like he mentioned
yeah,
that that like it adds to the score. I
yeah,
misunderstood the scene or this whatever like the little symbols that were like the speaker and the skull and stuff like that. There were
yeah,
4 of them. I
yeah. The
misunderstood
sets.
what he was saying about those. When he said a set of 4, I thought he meant the 4 individual
Yeah,
of like the card symbols, like the knife, the book, the
yeah,
candle.
yeah.
So yeah, I misunderstood that part. But
I agree. I agree. I thought at one point he was like, yeah, it has to be a set of 4, not one of each. Um, but yeah, it was a really cool game. It actually has. I was looking at it. It has a 1 player mode where like when you deal out the cards, you deal out 4 sets of cards, but it's 8, 6, 4, and 2. And so you get 8 cards to pick from. You get 6 cards. You get 4 cards, and then you have to play the last 2. Similar to how you would get it when you're rotating the cards, um, which I thought was like it was a really cool mechanic to throw it into it. And then if you can get a total of 80 points, you win the single player, which I don't think any of us got 80 points even in our multiplayer playthrough. Um, but yeah, it was just it was a lot of fun and a lot of like nuance to the different cards, and like I like how they try to theme you so that like you're not. I was the Eldritch horror sort of thing. It was infinite Infinite Horrors or something like I can't
Oh,
remember.
with the theme
With the
card.
theme, yeah. And so like I was more of like an Eldritch horror, and so like there was a lot of cards coming that were like probably more based on science and stuff, and I was like, these are really good. These don't go with my theme, but they would be really good for Cobb, and so like part of me was like, if I played them, then he wouldn't get them, but also if I play them, I wouldn't necessarily get like some of the theme points, but I didn't really. I already had the theme points in each of my sets, so at that point I could have been playing to try to pull it away from you. But I was just like, I got into telling the story of my like hunt, so I was like, no, I want to stick with the theme. I want to keep it thematic, even though you can only get 2 points per scene. Um, I don't care. Like I if I would have expanded further into more scenes similar to you, Cobb, like I think I had the least amount of scenes at 5. But all of my scenes had everything done. If I had expanded more, I might have won, but I was what, second place, I think? Second or third. I wasn't last. But yeah, it was a cool game. The it's if, one thing if you guys haven't been watching my reviews, um check them out over on OneQuest Video. Um, One thing I have been talking about with these reviews are the footprint of the game, like how big the box is and how much space it takes up. And is it like something you can travel with? And this is a game that can easily be traveled with and just easily, pretty easily, not extremely easily, like pretty easily taught to experienced board gamers. So like it's a fun game to bring to certain social events. I wouldn't say it would be all social events, but some social events, and it's just easy to carry. It's very small.
Yeah, like I really liked that it was just small box. What was it? 2 decks of cards in theory, because you had like, and like not even full decks. Like you had like the actual scene cards, and then you had just like the VIP cards and your theme cards.
Yeah,
And then like that, like it was a fabric mat and like the little place counter thing.
yeah, and yeah, it was again like the whole like house rule of like explaining your way through your haunted house. Like you can add cards to previously placed scenes. And so like what I did with mine is since it was like infinite horrors, I eventually said like, oh, like you're not constantly going into the same, you were constantly going into the same rooms and rotating because I turned my haunt into a um, haunted escape room. And every time you enter the different rooms, a new feature gets added into the haunt. And I was like, it's like it's cool that like you don't build one room at a time. You build it over time. So if you have something that you wanted to add to the first room, you can add it. Or if you wanted to place a new room, so each of the rooms have a number value to them, 2, 4, and 6.
Oh, right,
You
yeah, yeah.
if you place a 4, you cannot place a 2 unless you expend a token to place that 2. So like you need to place them in 2, 4, and 6 order. Um, so like you can adjust and move things around, and you'd have to move your cards because you have to put the 2 in front of the 4s and stuff like that. So like it builds a little bit of strategy because like I was not getting a lot of cards that would work with my deck for getting those tokens. Whereas Cobb, midway through the second round of the game, had all of the tokens. And so he was just able to do whatever the hell he wanted, basically. Whereas, like, Erica couldn't do it at all. Like, she never got those tokens throughout the game. And there's ways to get it without playing the cards. You can just wipe 2 cards from your hand and you'll get 2 tokens. Um, but yeah, it was a fun game. I enjoyed it. I would not mind playing it again and getting it and showing it to other friends, theming it around Halloween, like playing it every time we have a Halloween board game night and shit.
Yeah, and like there's enough I don't not like randomness, because like obviously it's random, it's like card based, but there's enough like variety is the
Yeah,
word I was looking for, that you're definitely not going to necessarily have the same, you're not going to have the same set of stuff
yeah,
2 rounds in a row or anything like that.
yeah. I mean, it's played across 3 rounds, and if you're playing with 4 players, that's 96 cards you're going to use in that playthrough, and there was at least triple that in scene cards alone. So like it is going to be very likely that like your every playthrough is going to be different. And it's not going to be very similar because of and like yeah, I mean it's a card game, so you shuffle it up. It's fairly random. But yeah, it's got some decent replayability and yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, like I would definitely play that one again too.
Mhm.
Like it was once you kind of like understand that, like frankly, the pretty simple rules. It becomes pretty easy to just like go through the rounds, and it's significantly more fun actually like talking about the cards you're playing versus just kind of throwing the
Just
cards and
playing
moving
them.
along.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I am all for adding role play to board games when doing shit like that. Like I'm all like if you're gonna play a game like Go Nuts for Donuts or Sushi Go, like yeah, we don't have to do that. Just play the cards, like we know what it is. But when you're playing a thematic game like that, I'm 100% for adding role play and storytelling. 100% for it.
Yeah, yeah. So like it because every one of the cards adds like a weird dynamic to like the scene. Like it just makes sense to do it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the other one we played was
It was
Widget Workshops.
Widget's Workshop from Phase Shift Games. Again, this is one of the review copies from Phase Shift. We got two review copies from Phase Shift at PAX this year, and this is one of them. This is one of their. The other one is a little bit more, a little bit more of a harder game. This was one of their not necessarily. It was one of their easy games. They have a couple of games that they consider like drop style games. They have like a dungeon game like Dungeon Treasures or something like that, and I think they have a space one as well that's a drop style, and they do this drop style because like it's easy setup and quick play and quick learn. And this one, Widget's Workshop, you are building robots, and the setup is very simple. Each player gets three tracker cards or three workstations cards, and each one should have like the first one should say 5 and 10. The next one should say 15 and 20, and the last one should say 25 and 30. And that's like your scoring to track your robot after you build them. Every player gets one, just randomly gets dealt one of the robot cards as just a starting robot. And each of these cards, which looks like little gears and they're pretty see-through, um, they have different body parts of a robot. So the head and torso, the left arm, left leg, right leg. Um, Everyone gets that dealt. They pick one of the three workstations to build the robot. They put whatever piece that was in the corresponding location. You then basically shuffle the cards and drop them on the table so that they're just thrown out kind of in a mess. It is then on your turn. You go around and you use a single finger to touch one of the cards. The second you touch a card, that is the card you're getting. And you pull that card out of the pile, you pick it up, that is the card you got. Some of them are upside down, some of them are face up. If they're face up, you only draw that one. If they're upside down, you draw another upside down card. And then you look at the two, you pick the one you want, and you put the other one back on the pile. And then
Okay.
you place them on your workstation. The workstations are just placeholders. If you're building something in your 5 and 10 workstation, that doesn't mean they're only going to get up to 10 points. These are just, you can only build 3 robots at a time, and the point numbers are just so that once you build the robot, you put them there. You can have multiple robots of that same point value. As far as I could tell in the instructions, it didn't say you couldn't. And then turn just goes around where everybody just plays grabbing cards and trying to build their robots by matching different icons. You can match it is element, it is agile or strong, and it is mechanical or biological are the 3 different elements on each card. And the more that you match across the 5 cards of the robot, the more points you get. The minimum amount of points you can get is 5, and the maximum is 30. So if you can match mechanical element or if you can match typing, specialization, and element, all 3 at 5 and 5 and 5, you get 30 points. But if you can't, then you get less points depending on how many you did. It's generally if you can get 4 of the thing, you get 5 points. If you can get 5 of the thing, you can get 10. If you can get 0, you get 0. But you're always going to get at least 5 points, I believe. Oh, maybe not actually. But once I mean, is there? I'm sure there's a way. Yeah, I mean, you might not get any points by building a robot, but you wouldn't want to build that robot. If you grab parts that you already have, you can swap them out with parts you have on the board with the part you just picked up. Those parts go back on the table. They don't get swapped with any of the parts on your boards. Once you place a part on your board, it is there unless you put it back on the table. Yeah, I thought it was good. I had I had some fun with it. It was getting later in the night, and it was a work night, so we were all kind of getting sleepy, and it just took a little bit to actually get into the groove and figure things out. The cards have the piece on them, they show them, but it doesn't write like left leg, right leg on it or anything. So at times it was a little bit hard to tell what it was until you started to realize like the element's always on top, the where the name of it is, because each card has a name representing what the total name of the robot will be. So once you get all 5 pieces and stack them on top of each other, you can read out what the name of the robot would be. Generally, if you got all the element connected, it would like make sense. But if none of us had non-matching elements, so none of our names got too crazy.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I didn't love this game. Like, it wasn't bad, but like, I don't know that I'd want to play it again.
I get that. This was like it wasn't like the best game. This is a nice quick game to play. This is like, in my opinion, it is designed for like younger demographic for sure. And it's also like it's designed for like newbie gamers. Like it is not something designed for high experienced board gamers like some of us. Like it didn't have too much strategy to it. And like Cobb, you got almost a perfect score. Like it is a lot of luck based.
Like the one thing I did start to notice, like as we were getting into it, it's actually, you can kind of tell what stuff is to an extent.
Yeah.
Even when they're flipped over, like you can kind of look at it and you can see what body part it is and what general shape it is, even if you can't tell what element. And unfortunately, like there's enough of a difference between, say, a fast water arm and a fast fire arm that if you just kind of take a second to look at the cards, you can kind of just find the ones you need. As long as like they're not buried too deeply under other cards.
Yeah, agreed. And like the naming aspect and the combining of the robot, like it's a cool feature, but because everything has to be translucent, it is hard to see that. It's not hard. It's easy to see that. Like there were times where I'm like, I know that's not what I'm looking for. I know that's not what I'm looking for, and I'm looking around. The other thing is like there really isn't a need to be building, like maybe there is a strategy somewhere where it's like, all right, just grab parts and put them on all 3 of your boards. But like there really isn't a need to be building more than one robot at a time because you can see what everything is that's on the table. So like I was messing around with ideas of like potential like house rules, and one of them being pieces are all face down no matter what. I think that would make the game a little bit tougher and like actually like make it a little bit more fun, because then it's a memory game as well.
Yeah, that could definitely change it. And also like maybe like adding a, rather than just the first person to 3, making it a little bit quicker and having just like a time limit, like so that people have to just kind of like grab pieces and go. There's not a lot of like
like probably on like a turn timer, like and like maybe give it's up to 5 players, so this would be hard to do, but like an hourglass for every player that you flip when it's your turn, and you have to grab a card within that hourglass, or and like make it like a 30-second like, timer or something.
Yeah, or you get like just 2 like 30-second hourglasses, and it's just
Yeah, that could,
Flip
and like flip it.
like you just flip one while one player is going, the other one is kind of resetting, and you just kind of cycle through it.
Yeah, because like I do agree. Because you could take a lot of time to look around. It and like at one point or another, like the board, the more robots that get built, the bigger the board's gonna be, or the more open the board's gonna be, the easier it is gonna be to see a lot of the robots. So like, yeah, it would giving you that like, all right, we gotta push the time. Like you gotta go. It makes sense. Like I do agree that the game in its base of vanilla version. I personally feel there could be tweaks and house rules to make it a little bit more fun or maybe a little bit more interactive in a sense of like for the more for the more experienced board gamers. But for newbie board gamers, I think it's a perfect game to introduce people into certain style board games, into these like it's a set collection game and get them understanding what set collection or open drafting is. Like it's a very good introductory game to some of these newer board games out there that not a lot of people know of. Like I went to PAX with my cousin this year and he didn't know any of this stuff that we saw, where I'm pretty sure I saw Widget's Workshop last year. Like I've seen a lot of this stuff before, but people who don't know, it's like, look, this is a really cool like starter board game that you might be into. But I do understand. Like I agree. Like it wasn't the best game I've played, but it's also not necessarily my style of game. But I did have fun with what I did.
Yeah, like I didn't have a bad time with it. It's just one of those like I don't know that I need or want to play it again.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. I've
Like not
played
a
a
bad
few
game.
games like yeah, I've played a few games like that. My uh there's this, I don't remember what it's called, but my friends have this like engine building space based game that like we played it once at a game night with my other group, and then the very next game night they wanted to play it again, and I'm like, A, I am, with the exception of legacy games, I don't want to play the same game two meetings in a row. But B, like I just wasn't really into this game. Like I wasn't into it as much. Like it's just this one was just like, I like engine builders, but this is not the engine builder for me. Um
Exactly.
but also again, like we played it two meetings in a row. And I'm like, that's I would much rather, if I'm going to meet you only once a month, I would much rather not play the same game 2 months in a row. Like
Hmm.
let's play something else this week, and then maybe next month we can play this again.
Yeah,
Because on
unless
top,
you're like opening up with something that always takes 10 minutes, like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just like
yeah.
a
Like
quick setup, quick breakdown, like we're waiting for food to get there or something like
yeah.
that. Like
I
that's a
and
little different.
on top of that, I have a million games that are unopened still. Let's play that. But their response is, well, we don't know how to play it. And it's like, well, let's learn how to play it and let's play it. Well, we don't want to learn how to play new games. It's like, well, then I'm never playing these damn games. Like,
It,
what
yeah,
do you what do you want from me?
people just don't really want to play games. They just use it as
Yeah.
yeah,
So like yeah, it's I like I it's that's like, again, it's like more of a me problem. It's like let's play it once every couple of months. Let's like this game, like I'm like we played it once, it's good. I'll bring it to the other game night and introduce it to them and see how they feel about it. That's also a 5-person game night, so this is 2 to 5 players, so it's perfect for that. Um but yeah, I'm not gonna necessarily be like, all right, we have to play this all the time. Like I have a bunch of other games that I have to play first before we get back. Before I'm like, all right, let's revisit some of these games. But yeah, I enjoyed it enough to where like I'll bring it to certain. So it's not it takes a little bit, even though like the box itself is small, it takes a little bit of space to play, to where like you can't really bring it to every function. But if people are doing specific board game and nerd based functions, all right, you can make space for this. It would be fun to bring.
yeah. And like while you do need a little bit of space, it's really just like a tabletop. Like
Yeah,
you don't need that much room.
yeah,
But yeah, uh, of the two games, I definitely preferred Scream Park, but you know,
yeah, and yeah. Again,
still
it's
had fun.
yeah, it's more, that was more of a personal. It's not a fact that the games were bad. It's just more of a, it
Yeah,
wasn't my
personal
style. And
preference.
yeah, and I totally agree with that. Like it's the I've yet to play a game where I thought was bad because I did not like it, or because it wasn't my style. Whereas like this one is like, all right, this is at least fun, but it's not necessarily something I would always want to play. Like I at least had a good time. Like I'm sure there are such things as bad games out there. Uh, I've never experienced a bad board game because it's just like, in my opinion, when it comes to board games, it's very subjective.
I feel like I've
Um,
definitely played one or two that just were not great. And like not even like a subjective, like they were just not especially well done and like overly complex. Oh, um, fuck, I can't think of the name of it. That like Nexus Inferium or whatever. Like the big booth that's always got like the black towers and everything.
Oh yeah.
So they
Um,
have two games at their booth usually. I forget. So the problem is I can never remember the name of them. But like either last year or the year before, we not this most recent year, we grabbed it out of the library and sat down and played one of them. And it was a game where like conceptually cool idea. Um, in practice, not fun like at all. It was too many things to do per turn. And just kind of you really were just going through the motions. Like it was not a fun that they were not fun mechanics. I wish I could remember more about it, but I
it,
remember like we
it's
didn't even
either
finish the game.
it's either gonna be Nexus Inferium or Eschaton because that is Archon Games.
I think it was the Nexus Inferium. I'm actually looking it up to like look
So
at the board.
Nexus Inferium is dice rolling, set collection, worker placement, whereas
Yeah,
Eschaton is deck building, hand management, area majority influence.
yeah. Nexus Infernum is the one that we played. And like I said, cool idea. But so many moving parts to it to actually get through like a round. And like generally even if we're not having the best time with the game, we'll usually finish it out. But like all of us, and so it was Erica and I. Matt was there at the time. He was playing with us, and a friend of his played with us. And Drew, I think you didn't play, but you stopped by for a little while.
yeah, you guys were playing as we walked over.
And after like an hour, we were all just like, we're not really enjoying this, are we? Everyone just kind of shook their head and we just packed it up. Like,
Yeah, I mean you're looking Nexus Inferium 45 to 90 minutes. I would honestly say, and like Board Game Geek gives it a 6.4, so it's definitely on the mid tier.
yeah,
It's definitely not a game for like everyone for sure when it's at that point. But I would also like kind in my opinion, playing a game that's going to take that long at PAX, that is a bad atmosphere to play a game like that.
I don't think so.
I personally would not want to play a game at PAX that's going to take more than a half hour.
But you also don't like playing games at PAX because of how loud the room is.
For 100%, yes, it is very overstimulating for me especially trying to learn how to play a game at PAX.
Which totally understandable. We at
It's
least,
going to then take over an hour.
yeah,
Whereas,
we,
like,
we
I
have
could
kind of,
be doing other stuff. I could be going, or we could be trying other games. I could be demoing stuff on the floor, going to like panels or whatever. It's to me, like, I feel like if I knew this game and read up on it and thought it would be cool, I would not want to play it at PAX. I would want to demo it at PAX and then play it. I would want to demo it with people who absolutely know how to play there at their booth. And if I liked it enough, buy it and bring it home. If it didn't hook me, then I just obviously wouldn't buy it. But that's
that,
me and a personal
yeah,
feeling for me about that atmosphere.
yeah. And so, like that particular day, we had kind of wrapped up. Like we didn't really have anything else we wanted to do. Um, Erica and I, especially, like Erica doesn't like panels at any convention. I don't give a shit about any of them at PAX, unfortunately. Like they hold no appeal to me there. And like that. What did you say the name of the booth was? I'm sorry.
Archon Games.
Archon. Like their booth is always very busy, and it really is just a wait for a table to open up and then play. Like you're playing the whole game. You're not just playing and like getting like a rundown of it. So
Mhm.
like grabbing it out of the library, not all that different than like sitting down at their booth to play it. The only difference is like there's probably going to be somebody nearby that you can ask for help, but a lot of times, at least in my experience, when you get to those bigger booths and they're like have the game set up, their employees are all over the place. Like they're not actually hanging out and like making sure you're playing correctly. They're giving you like a very quick synopsis and then getting back to work because it's a crazy weekend and they have a million fucking things to do.
Yeah.
But so like we were all kind of like at the end of our respective like what we wanted to do for the day, and like I said, like I mean, you've played games with Matt. Like he's generally pretty good at figuring out the rules. You know, you hand him a rule book, and usually within like 10 minutes, he's like, I've got the basic gist of this. We're good.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those like we were looking for something that was going to be a little bit longer, and that game just ended up not being fun for any of us. And I really do feel that it was just cumbersome, overcomplicated, and the actual mechanics of the game just weren't fun.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Board Game Geek stuff, and it's like you roll dice to see which portal, roll the dice to see where your skeleton will travel to. Once your skeleton's on the board, they can move to another portal they choose later on in the game. Blah, blah, blah. If two players have a skeleton in the same spot, then you roll dice for attack. Then roll a like. There's a lot of dice rolling for one turn. That is insane. That is
it's a lot
too
of dice
much.
moving. There's like a lot of weird like power mechanics depending on like what you're doing and whether or not you leveled a thing up or not. Like it really was like it was one of those games where I do not see how that game could be finished in 45 minutes, even if you've played it a bunch of times.
Yeah, well, it's 45 to 90, so the 45 is probably a 2-player game. 90 is anything beyond like 3 or 4.
Yeah, and even then, like I feel like that game was going to like you said, obviously the first time you play it, it's always going to take a little bit longer. But like with all the stuff you have to do in that game, unless you're playing it every week and you just have it down pat, even 90 minutes seems a little light for just how just cumbersome a lot of it was.
And and there's like it's according to BGG, it's dice rolling, set collection, and worker placement. So you're doing a dice rolling and a worker placement game. Those are two like pretty crazy mechanics to have in the same. Like anytime I've played a worker placement game, it's been like a card based game, not a dice rolling game. Like maybe worker placement, set collection, or worker placement deck building sort of thing works, but like adding the dice, like you guys know, I've talked about this. When I'm DMing, I try to cut down the number of dice rolls in D&D. I feel like sometimes there can be too many dice rolls. Like I will try to find ways to like. Obviously, there's always going to be dice rolls, but like
That's part of the problem with it.
I'm a huge proponent of because like dice rolls bog shit down because you have to roll the dice, count the dice, figure out what it, like I love D&D, but like there are times where like even in combat like you might not necessarily need that dice roll, or maybe like I don't want to push too much advantage because then it's 2 dice rolls whenever they like advantage shouldn't just be you roll twice and take the higher, because sometimes your higher is 2 when you had fucking advantage. You should be like I personally agree with like I think it was the 3rd edition or 4th edition rules where advantage was like a natural +5 or something like that to your roll.
Right.
Like but like same with like I've talked about it with critical hits in D&D. Like rolling a critical hit shouldn't be double the dice roll because sometimes your dice roll is bad. Like a critical hit should naturally just do top max damage, in my opinion. Like it should do double whatever your dice roll would, double your high maximum dice roll. Okay. Because there's just too. It's first you have to roll it, then you have to count it, then you have to double it, and it's like I love dice, but there are certain things about dice, and in a game like that we were talking about with Nexus Infernum, where you're doing worker placement and dice rolling, and you have to roll the dice, and then roll the dice again, and then roll the dice if there's combat, and then roll another dice or some shit like that. Like, there are 7 things that you do. There are 6 things you do before your turn ends. That is a lot. That is a lot. And 3 of them revolve around rolling dice. It's a lot. It's honestly too much.
I agree. But yeah, that was our board game experience.
Yeah.
Last thing we have is, like we mentioned at the top of the show, I watched the 1991 comedy Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Have either of you guys ever seen this?
Nope.
Probably not.
So basic setup is it is Christina Applegate and her like 3 siblings. Their mom is summer break. Their mom is going to Australia for 2 months. And so they get a babysitter. And even though Christina Applegate's 17 and I believe she's supposed to be a high school senior the following year, they get a babysitter who's this old, mean, shitty lady. And very early in the movie, she dies. And the kids, like, rather than calling their mom and telling them the babysitter was dead, just don't. And they try to kind of make it on their own, which includes Christina Applegate's character going. So they live like outside of New York City, but like up in that area, on like a farm or some shit. So she proceeds to go into New York City to get a job. And she goes to this fashion company, because like she's into fashion, and she's applying to be an executive. No, I'm sorry, not an executive assistant, a receptionist. She has a made-up resume. Her resume says that she graduated from like Vassar College and that she would be around 27 years old. And instead of getting the receptionist job, she gets hired on the spot to be the executive assistant to like one of like the top executives of the company. Mostly because the whole reason the receptionist job listing was open was because that receptionist was supposed to get moved into that role, and the executive didn't like her. So to spite her, she hired who she thought was a more qualified person off the street. The thing that jumped out to me was, even in 1991, a large company like that performs no sort of due diligence to make sure that the person they're hiring is really the person they're hiring. Like, they didn't check her. They didn't even check her ID, because like her driver's license, they found it later, says she's 17. So like at no point did they check ID or anything. They just started giving her a paycheck for a job that she was grossly underqualified for. No background checks or anything. Like, also, she got health insurance. Like, I'm not sure how that worked, but she was also able to apply that health insurance to her sibling as dependents. Because at one point in the movie, one of her brothers falls off the roof while trying to fix like the TV antenna and breaks his leg. And yeah, she uses her work insurance on a child that is not hers. That, like, what the fuck? Like, the suspension of disbelief for this movie, up there for even this kind of movie. It was funny though. Like, it's not a bad movie. It's very much of its time. It's got a handful of like recognizable people. I actually think one of the brothers might have been the guy that's on NCSI forever, like the computer guy from NCSI. I've never seen the show. I've only seen the memes, so I'm not sure what his name is.
I don't know. Well,
I'm looking it up now.
I'll keep looking while you're talking.
I'm actually looking now. No. Oh, David Duchovny's in it too. He plays like a douchey, not even executive, but like, even though this is 91, he still looks like he's out of the 80s. Like, he's got, the first time you see him, he's got the blazer on, but like the sleeves rolled up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe it wasn't him. I could have sworn one of the kids looked a lot like the guy who is in NCSI.
Yeah, I'm looking through NCSI and I don't know who you would think you would be.
All right. NCIS or CSI? They are two different shows.
NCIS is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, the one that's been on for like 40 years and has never been canceled.
It's both, but that's both of them.
That's both of them.
And so
NCIS, the original CSI has been canceled.
Has it really?
Yeah, that one ended a while ago, I believe.
Is NCIS actually even still on?
NCIS is still showing that it's on for 23 seasons now.
Yeah, the original CSI ended in 2015.
I did not realize that. But yeah, I don't know who you would think this kid is, but I'm looking at the two casts and that no one looks like him.
Well, also
none of them are matching.
Yes, they don't match. But keep in mind, this would have been 30 years ago, so they're not going to look all that much alike anymore.
Yeah, but it would have their updated cast photo from Google.
No, I know that, but like, and it doesn't look like it is the same person. It's hard to then look at their like IMDb and be like, oh yeah, that's who I thought it was, because all the like default pictures are them currently. Yeah. So, they don't quite look the same. But yeah, it's a funny movie. It's just like some of that nonsense was very much like, what the hell do you guys think? Like, what?
I see that stuff doesn't bother me because A, it's a movie from the 90s. B, it's a movie. It's not real life. Shit's gonna happen. It's
Yes.
plot armor. Like
It's just
like
it was very funny to like sit there and watch it and be like, man, she got this job, and like at no point does anyone question anything except for the receptionist whose job she technically stole. That lady had it out for her from the beginning.
Yeah, but like I mean, it's just it's for the plot. It's for the movie. Like it's like I remember many moons ago, when we were still friends with previous people who used to do stuff on the website. I was still working at McDonald's at this time. I had come up with the idea of a book I wanted to write, and it was supposed to be like a pseudo rom-com type book. And I had come up with the idea of it, and it was about a college student who is falling in love with someone or has feelings for someone but doesn't know how to talk to them, and so they meet someone who ends up being their guardian angel who's going to school with them, and their guardian angel is supposed to push them towards this person, but then the guardian angel ends up falling in love with the person, the main character. Like, I had this whole idea. And
But
I was
that's
like,
at least got supernatural elements.
There's
nothing
like,
supernatural in this book.
Just let me finish though. A lot of it was all about the bit of the title of the book was Guardian Girlfriend, was what I wanted to call it. Well, I was telling this story, just trying to get to the bit of the title of the book, and the entire time, the douchebag who used to do stuff for this website was hounding me for, well, how does she go to school there? She doesn't have a social security card. She doesn't have a social security number. She shouldn't be in that class. It's fucking plot armor. Who cares? It does not matter. That is not part of the story. No one in their right mind is actually going to ask that question, because also, number two, in the 2000s, you could just go sit in a class.
Could you?
I mean, probably not now. I'm sure you need a student ID to get into classes, but at Kennedy County College, no one fucking took attendance and asked who was who. They took attendance the first class. And certain colleges' classes are so big that you just have to mark that you're there. Like, they don't actually take attendance. In bigger schools, for sure, they're not going to know that they're not supposed to be there. Like, it is not... Like in your instance, I totally understand a little bit of the question, because like she got a job, she got health insurance. It's like, all right, well, yeah, that wouldn't really work, especially today.
But beyond just the health insurance, she was able to apply the health insurance to a sibling like they were her own child, and use it.
Maybe the 90s were a different time, and you could do that. But also, that's just insurance fraud, and that's like a whole nother aspect of like, oh, she's breaking the law, she's doing this, she's doing that, all because she didn't want to tell her mom that the babysitter died. But also at the same time, if the babysitter was there for, what was it, a summer, and the son still had broken his arm, they still wouldn't have had health insurance for the son. Because the mom's not there. Like,
but also, like, that's not how health insurance works either. Like, the kids would have been covered by their mom's health insurance, assuming she had it.
Well, I mean, that's
if she was there or not.
But especially in the 90s, the hospital wouldn't have the records, and so it's just very easy to say, "Oh, he's my son. He's on my insurance," and the hospital will take it and then run your. But there's no internet, or very little internet. There's no actual database of insurance at that time. So, like, they'd have to call the insurance company, and probably during the early 90s, which this movie was made, if it came out in 91, it was being filmed in, like, 89, so it's even earlier. It was being filmed in 89 and 90, so, like, they're definitely, like, it was a product of its time where, like, there's no instant identification. They would have to call the insurance company, but emergency medicine worked differently back in the 90s, where they didn't just sit there and wait for the insurance company. They took care of you, and then you would get the bill. So she definitely got $1 trillion bill.
So here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. At the end of the movie, when, obviously she gets caught because the mom comes home as she is having a fashion show at her house for her company. Mm-hmm. And the mom sees the son and goes, what happened to your leg? And Christina Applegate's character goes, don't worry, he'll be fine. I've got really good insurance.
Yeah.
And it's just, it was so dumb.
I mean, I guess a counter argument would be, at that point, she was technically his guardian.
She wasn't supposed to be, though.
But she
And
was.
She's also under the age of 18. Which I don't know
and she
that you
was
can be a
also
guardian
lying
under
about
the
her
age of
name
18.
and age and everything. But
No,
she
she
still...
never lied about her name. She gave them her real name.
Okay.
And like in theory, I don't know that she specifically ever said in the movie that she was like 27. The executive that hires her goes, "Oh, this says you graduated X years ago, so that means you're 27," and then just keeps going. So like really, it is absolutely the executive's fault, but also what? Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, was she playing a 17-year-old? Or is that just how old she was when the
No, she was
movie
17 in the movie.
Okay. Because 1989 labor laws, like 18 is an adult. So I was just like, because labor laws may have been different, maybe 17. But 16, 18, general labor law purposes, we consider 18 for hazardous and 16 for non-hazardous. She's working non-hazardous job. So labor laws are different.
But she was also working more than 40 hours a week.
She was probably salary and they weren't counting that shit.
But yeah, it's a fun movie. It's just, it's silly how much like suspension of disbelief you need beyond just like your regular, like it's a movie, silly stuff happens. Like it, like, especially like watching it as an adult. And I did look up a few things about the movie just to see if anyone else had like pointed that out. And there are quite a few places where they're just like, how did she keep this? Like, what? How did she pull this up? Like, how did she have health insurance for children that weren't hers? But like again, overall, it is a fun movie. It's 34 years old now, so
yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That might be an episode. You guys got anything else?
I don't.
No,
Rich?
not really.
All right. Well, in that case, that's going to be an episode then for that'll be your Christmas episode. I might release it tomorrow, which is Wednesday if you're listening to it the day it was released, instead of Christmas morning.
So you might release it today.
What?
You said you might release it tomorrow, which means you might release it today. Because at the time the person's listening to it, it's today, not tomorrow.
Oh, that's true. Also, I am pretty sure at the beginning of this episode I called it Wednesday.
It's fine. No one pays attention.
It is Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025. Yeah. But anyway, if you would like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. Can't support us there with your dollars, though. You can go to your favorite podcast platform. Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, rate us, review us, subscribe to us. Those things all help. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @one_quest on Instagram and Twitter. And our Blue Sky is one-quest.com. You can also send us emails to social@one-quest.com. And our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. Now, Rich, what is your streaming looking like?
Twitch.tv/B_walnuts for video game streaming, Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Still playing Expedition 33, taking it a little bit lighter and not playing it as much, but probably going to try to get a big focus on beating it in the new year. And then Sea of Thieves, Date Everything. There's just a bunch of stuff that I got coming. I'm going to have to play RV There Yet eventually, so maybe that. And then there's a bunch of other games we're getting ready to play, so definitely come hang out whenever you can. Also, you'd mentioned One Quest Video. We have 2 board game reviews up there that also link to my and our Let's Play videos over on my personal channel. So you can watch both of those and see how the play session is. And then this Saturday coming up will be our Widgets Workshop review as well as Let's Play video. I've basically, I had the series called Board Solo where I played single player board games. Well, I just added any of our board game playthroughs to that playlist, and I call it Board with Friends. But board is spelled BOARD.
Good.
Like board game. Get it?
Yeah. I approve.
Yeah.
You have my seal of approval.
I don't need it. It's my personal channel. I can do whatever the hell I want.
I'm just saying, you have my seal of approval.
I'm going to change it now to anytime you're in it to board, like the other way to spell board.
Good. Because I'm usually bored playing games with you.
because you bore me so much.
But yeah, that'll do it for this week. We'll be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
See yas.
Oh, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.